Got some new audio issues here. Got a ton of static, not static. Let's see if I can't fix this. And now I have an echo. Bear with me for a minute. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my streaming software is looping the output, which is creating the echo. Yeah, so all of my settings disappeared because I haven't used the software in quite a while. So now I spent probably 45 minutes trying to get all the settings back before going live, but I need to fix this. Yeah, it's been a while. Downpour Productions. And it looks like I lost the music now, too. Oh, there it goes. It was just super low. Maybe that'll do it. No? I don't know. Is it still echoing? Yeah, it is. Yeah, so whatever reason, my output is being monitored by the speakers, and the speakers aren't, I mean, they're not playing, but this is what I think they are. No, they're not. Yeah, it shouldn't be monitoring, but I think it is. Okay, how about now? Echo? Yeah, slow echo. Oh man. Oh, was that it? That's it. Fixed. No more hissing, no more echo. All right. I'm not even sure what that source was, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's jump in. So I haven't done the mod stream in a long time, but obviously I'm still working every day. I just don't have time to stream it these days. All right. So first lens up, as the ticker says, is the 19mm version of 1. This is a different cap than usual. This looks odd. I mean, it looks legit. It doesn't look like a fake, and it's got a Leica part number, but it's got a different texture and a different feeling. It's really rigid, but it doesn't matter. It's gonna get set aside anyway. Okay. So this one is in very good condition, very minor wear on the mount. Focus is nice and consistent. All the anodizing is nice. Usually this edge here gets beat up really badly, but it's very nice. Minor little dings there. But overall it's in great shape. A little bit of crud. I still never figured out this autofocus on this camera. Right, it's really hard to see. Right there. That's not uncommon. Unfamiliar with the Leica R series. Did the customer already put a focus ring in? No. So Leica R series are from the let's see, the 70s all the way up to the early 2000s. And they are famous because, well, for many reasons, but one of the reasons is because the glass that Leica was producing at the time they were making these, they had a factory in Canada, Ernst Lights Canada, or Alcan as most of us call it, and that same factory produced a lot of the glass for Panavision. So a lot of people kind of draw a similarity between the Leica R's and Panavision's proper cinema lenses. There's not a ton of actual truth to that, but it doesn't change the fact that the Leica R's have a very nice image and people love them. So this is bone stock. Nothing has been changed on here. Hello, Josh. Good morning. Yeah, this is all original, and it looks like even the paint on the baffle screw is untouched, which means this lens probably hasn't ever even been serviced. The fat ring mid-body is really distinct. That's just the focus ring. It's definitely not a gear. It's just a grip. So this lens is going to get a full mod, including declicking. Actually, I should have checked that first. Yes, so front ring, focus gear, declick, and a mount conversion, which I think I have here. I do, yeah, I got it ready to go. Nice watch, thank you. This was my Father's Day present from my wife. It has been a long time. This could be a rerun. How would you guys know? I guess the fish tank's a little different. Scam. All right. It looks like this is all original grease, which is a nice sign. It hasn't been tampered with, but what is this? Oh no, it's just extra grease. I thought it was like a piece of tape or something. Oh, Phil's here. Good morning, Phil. Is fungus lens cancer, or is there hope with cleaning? That really depends on the severity of the fungus. Most fungus, if you catch it early, it can be cleaned. It can be removed, cleaned, and stopped from spreading. If fungus goes unchecked for a long time, it can etch itself into the coatings and potentially even into the glass, and that's permanent. Then you have to replace the elements. Finally catching the live. Interested in Otis Milvis set because your streams love them. Nice. Yeah, Otis and Milvis are a fantastic combination. Casper, good morning, Mr. B, Phil, the short list. You change watch, yeah. I changed the watch because my Apple Watch, when I was on the stream, it would keep showing notifications, and I didn't necessarily want that. So we got my, someone else was just complimenting, but yeah, it's my Father's Day present from my wife. Reef anamorphic lens. Did you test this lens? Yes, I have tested the Reef anamorphics. I am very impressed with my initial tests. Time will tell how they do, in the field and holding up to the rigors of production. But my initial impressions are very good with those. It's nice to see someone making a unique set of anamorphics. So this was super tight on there. That's a little concerning. Yeah, I believe this was all original because this grease is looking pretty cruddy. That's as close as it's going to focus. Yeah, it's kind of not great. I'm building a set of Milvis, but I'd like to know how they compare to DZO RLs. Ooh. That's a tough comparison. Milvis are going to be cleaner overall, more accurate, more clinical. The RLs are going to have a little bit of character. They're still relatively clean. Not as clean as Milvis, not as clean as like the Nisi Athenas. But RLs are going to kind of set the standard for high-speed primes moving forward. RLs won't be as clean as Milvis. They won't be as clean as, definitely not as clean as Otis. Definitely not as clean as Sigma or Tokina. But with that extra speed and the lower price, it's kind of hard to argue those. I feel like my light isn't as bright as it used to be. My overhead light. Is it true leaving a lens with fungus in the sun will kill it and stop the spread? Not necessarily. The logic there is that the UV light from the sun kills the fungus, but it really depends on where the fungus is located in the lens. It depends on if there's still moisture inside the lens. If there's still moisture in the lens and you leave it out in the sun, that fungus could get even worse because it's going to heat up and the moisture will spread throughout the lens. The only proper way to get rid of fungus is to take the lens apart, disinfect all of the elements and surfaces that are affected, and reassemble. Anything other than that is really just a temporary solution, a band-aid. I loved the Zeiss Lens overview series. Yeah, I liked that too. I did that sort of in collaboration with Zeiss, and originally they wanted me to just talk about their new lenses, and I was like, nah, I'm not an influencer. I want to give people knowledge. I want to make it worthwhile. So I told them I would talk about their new lenses as long as I had, time to do all the old stuff too, because really that's what people want. So they weren't super happy about it, and I don't think it ended up even being an official thing. I just kind of took that idea and ran with it. I do think I'm doing another Zeiss event, maybe next month. I can't remember. But focusing on the new nano primes. So that should be fun. I think we're doing it at Zeiss in Sherman Oaks. Would you ever do a cook? Or yeah, absolutely. Oh man, I'd love to dive into, you know, starting with like, I don't know if I'd go as far back as like speed pancros, but I would do S4s, 5Is, S7, S8, Pancro Classic, SP3, all the contemporary Cooke cine lenses. Actually, no, I would go as far back as the Cooke zooms, like the 5X and 10X. The 20 to 100, 18 to 100, 25 to 250. I'm almost out of coffee. Another difficult question. Otis 28 versus Milvus 25. That depends on your goal. If you're building a set of Milvus, I'd say just stick with the Milvus 25. If you're looking for the absolute best image quality, jump to the Otis. It is a noticeable difference between the Otis 28 and the Milvus 25. Oh, I don't know if I have the right grease here. Maybe I do. Do what? Oh, a Cooke overview? I should, yeah. I'm sure that Cooke would love to see that. Oh, that's interesting. Let's get some close focus on here. Or maybe I'll break out the microscope again. So I could tell that that's the original grease because it's got that green. After it like deteriorates, it turns that green color. But this lens, I don't know what this is. It's not gonna focus. Where'd it go? I lost it. There it is. It's got some red residue. I'm sure that it was just something, you know, whoever owned this lens was shooting some event or some, I don't know, whatever, and got debris in their lens. We could throw it under the microscope and see what it is, but we might regret that. It's soft. It's like a, I don't know. It's like maybe some kind of paint. You know what? I know exactly what it is. I bet somebody, oh yeah. Somebody was trying to repaint the red dot to make it look nice and clean, and their paint got in the lens. So that's a poor service effort. I hate to sound like a commercial here, but that's why you get your lenses serviced by professionals. This was probably some eBay seller trying to make it look a little nicer, and they literally got paint inside their lens. I have like R lens I need to show off. Needs some weird mod. What do you have, Phil? What's your... I've seen every single Leica R lens, so I'm curious what you consider weird. LPL Leica mount. Yeah, we do. We actually install the Cine-Mod R mounts, but these are all getting EF. Nothing crazy. I'm 100% certain you haven't seen this one in person. Interesting. Does that mean it's custom, or is it just a rare one? Very rare. 1200? What do you, what you got? That's the only thing I haven't seen is like those crazy telephotos. Iskorama 2004. I still have some Iskorama stuff of yours, Phil. It's sitting in a bin. I actually saw it this morning when I was grabbing these. So a Leica R Iskorama collab, is that what you're talking about? Uses a fish. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's an anamorphic module. Since this one had paint on it, normally I would probably throw it into the ultrasonic, but it cleaned off pretty easily, so I'm not gonna. And you guys would, I mean, that sound would be terrible on the stream. Got a tiny bit of anodizing nick in it, right at the edge. But overall, this is really good. So it feels good dry, so I'm not too concerned about that paint. I think it'll be fine. It's a fully assembled monoblock anamorphic, a collab between Leica and ISCO 20. Okay, all right, Phil, you're right. I have not seen that. Somebody else is here. What is that? Somebody's running a machine. I don't know. Okay, time for grease. Kind of low. Pretty sure this is the right brush. I don't want to mix greases, so it's kind of important, but I think this one's fine. Idea for a live stream: showcase poor lens repair mod. I don't know if I would do that, because that really it throws people under the bus. It throws, you know, I wouldn't necessarily know who did the repair or the mods, but I wouldn't want to risk bashing someone else's work. You showed a Rokinon teardown, I remember, and why they're cheaper. You did lens hunting on eBay. What to look out for? Something. Yeah, the Rokinon teardown was actually that that predated the mod stream. That was actually what kind of gave me the idea for the mod stream, and it wasn't live streamed; it was just recorded. And that started with what was it? It was a Voigtlander. We were testing the fit of a custom cap on a Voigtlander lens, and we wanted to test it out in the sun. And so I left it out front, just outside the building here, during the day. No big deal. But I forgot about it, and it rained that night, so the lens got soaked. And I brought it back in the next morning. I remembered it the next day, which was a Saturday. Ran to the office. It was still there, soaking wet. So that was the very first one that I recorded. And I got a lot of crap for that. People thought I was like... There was some shitty comments on the video about, like, oh, he did this on purpose, and he just wanted to leave his lens out to get ruined. Which is definitely not the case. That was I mean, I ended up fixing it fine, but that was not a cheap lens. This is a little concerning as well. This, I don't think you can see it because it's reflecting, but the nickel plating has worn off, and you can see the raw brass, which isn't reflected on here because that's where it mates, so it should be okay, but it shouldn't be raw brass like that. Mod-Stream reminds me of quarantine time. Yep, exactly. That was the catalyst. You know, I had done those couple of recordings with the Rokinon and the Voigtlander, and then COVID is what inspired me. I've told the story 100 times, but I was genuinely just lonely here. We had, you know, we were a non-essential business here in LA, so we had to close down, but I still had work to do. And so I came here and sat by myself and started streaming because there was no one else in the building. What's the average turnaround time on EF mods and rings for a few lenses? Need to find a time when they won't be needed on set. Average turnaround time is about a week, maybe 2 weeks if it's a big set or something custom. But something like this, like ours, about a week. Okay. Let's get you guys in focus here. I'm tempted to turn the autofocus on this camera back on, but two things. One, it ends up hunting a ton, and you can hear the focus motor because the camera, well, the lens is right next to the microphone. So maybe I'll splurge and get a new lens for that. Something with a properly quiet focus motor. What kind of lenses are you looking to get modded, Mr. Hendricks? So happy the fish cam is back. The fish cam is the real important part. I gotta remove that song. Oh, hold on. Let's go find it. I don't like it. Okay. The fish tank has changed a bit. Oh, did I just lose my top-down camera? What happened? No, it's gone. That's weird. It froze on my screen. The fish tank has changed. There used to be a couple little like White Mountain minnows, and they're mostly gone. And there's a couple shrimp that you might see. Actually, is that him right now? I don't know if this is gonna work. I think that worked. I don't know, I can't tell. Yeah, it worked. So there's a convict fish is the top right. You see him right now swimming around. And then there's no shrimp out right now, but there's a bunch of Amano ghost shrimp. Something just went across the bottom left. I don't know if that was it or not, but anyways. Some minor changes to the fish tank. The lenses are still the same. Still the Zeiss Super Speeds and an Ingenue HR. Yeah, someone else is in the shop back there. Hopefully no heavy machines will be running, because that'll get loud. I hear a grinder running. This song is depressing too. Otis 285585. Oh, perfect. Bread and butter. Yeah, that's a fantastic set. We can definitely mod those within a week because we keep all those parts in stock. I'm always shocked how the Milvus 35 holds up against the Otis. Yeah. I wish that Zeiss would make a 35 Otis. But you're absolutely right. The Milvus intercuts pretty well. I would also very commonly refer people to the Milvus 15 and 135 to end cap those the Milvus. I'm sorry, the Otis. The 15 and the 135 are fantastic image quality. They were never going to be Otis by name because they're not f1.4. Someone's going to town on something in the back. That grinder's going. I don't think I have screws for this. Oh, they're buried. I found them. Would you recommend collimation on a regular basis, even if the lens hasn't been dropped or modified? Yes, absolutely. The most common analogy for collimation is alignment on a car. Just because you haven't hit a curb doesn't mean your alignment's still good. Just regular wear and tear, regular use, your collimation can and will go out. So routine adjustments are required on any lens. I should say any lens that you need that accuracy. Oh, almost forgot my baffle. This is the wrong tip. It's too broad. but I'm going to stick with it. Is the Milvus 15 that different from the ZF Classic? No, in fact, it's identical optically. But it was that the 15 and the 135 were the last lenses to be added to the Classic line. And so when Zeiss introduced the Milvus line, they just repurposed the 15 and the 135, among a couple others. But no, they're still, even the Classic are fantastic. Same glass. You mentioned the 15 being on par. Would you pick it over the 18? Our 18 doesn't see much use, so wide, but it's handy when needed. I would not recommend the 100. That's another carryover from the Classic, and it's their close focus or macro. Not the best. Not anywhere near as good as the 135, unless you need that close focus. But as far as the 15 versus the 18, I think the 18 is great. It's a little slow. And it's still... I think, in my opinion, it would depend on the format that you're shooting. 18 is still a really good ultra-wide on Super 35. It's a wide on Super 35. It's an ultra-wide on full frame. The 15, I think, if you're shooting full frame, that's a specialty lens. The 15 is very wide if you're shooting full frame. Oh. Hey Matthew, love the stream. I'm curious, since you're working on Leica R at the moment, any favorite lenses from the Leica Rs? If you were putting a set together from scratch. I've had several sets over the years, and I will always kick myself for getting rid of them. We had 2 sets that we ended up selling years and years and years ago. We are full frame, Sony and V Raptor. Okay, then 15 is going to be really wide. I would almost consider it a specialty focal length. So the 18, you're probably okay. But going back to my set, that's another fun story. There was a company called Dalsa that some of you will know, and they made one of the first 4K digital cinema cameras, and they needed lenses to go with the camera. So instead of making new lenses from scratch, they rehoused Leica R lenses. So if you see any lens online called a Dalsa Prime, it's a Leica R. Well, Dalsa exited from the cinema business, and when they did that, they hadn't used all of their Leica R primes that they had in stock. They hadn't finished converting them all. And the ones they had in stock were cherry-picked by Dan Sasaki, because he worked for Dalsa at the time, or at least he contracted, you know, building those lenses. And when they exited the industry, they had a bunch of sets left over. So we got to cherry pick from the cherry picks, and we used those as our Leica R lenses that we Cine-Modded, and for a short time we rented them out. But mostly just because I loved the lenses and I liked shooting with them. But we decided that we weren't going to be in the rental business. This is all probably 10, 15 years ago. Some of our best customers are the rental houses around town, around the country. and we decided we didn't want to step on their toes. So we were going to stick to service, they were going to stick to rentals. And so we sold off our Leica Rs. And like I said at the beginning of this rant, I will always regret that, because they were the cream of the crop. All that to say, sorry, that's a very long-winded way of saying, personally, 24, 28, 35, 50, 80, and I'm trying to remember which. I can't remember if it was 100 or 135. I think it was 100. But all Summilux except for the 28 and the 24. And then I think at one point, I think I had the 19mm version 1, which is the same as this lens here. This might be loud, I apologize. You may have never seen a Summicron Iskorama, but have you seen, this is a Russian M42 and PL screw adapter. I mean, it's probably a Mir or a Lomo or one of those. Oh, okay. Thank you, Downpour. Thank you for clarifying. Beautiful. Look at that. Nice logo. I'm going to get more coffee real quick. I could do my standby screen. Don't go anywhere. That was weird. I think my audio disappeared. And now I have radiation poison. Oh, I should have put it on the fish, you're right. Actually, there's a bin. Which side is it? Nope. Oh yeah, no. Right back there behind me. That bin is full of radioactive lenses. Actually, this is a good plug. On YouTube. Oh, let me see if I can find it.
So today I'm out at the San Onofre.
There's a nice little plug.
It's actually being decommissioned and has been in the act of being decommissioned for the past 9 years. And I'm standing actually out in front of the dry fuel storage. And
is this the right one?
This is the front element out of a radioactive Cine-Mod lens. This actually belonged to an Angenieux 18 to 270 millimeter television lens, manufactured back in 1976. And I found this while I was visiting Duclos Lenses down in Chatsworth, California. I was fortunate enough to be given access to the facility and to check out some of
I think that'll work.
stock and lenses.
So there's a guy. He's been a customer for a long time. He's been a friend for a while. His name is Andrew Walker, and he goes around finding radioactive stuff. And he decided he wanted to come in here and check our storage, basically our archives. So, watch that video when you have time. And he basically walked around with a Geiger counter and found all the radioactive elements. So I probably shouldn't have collected them all and put them in one concentrated space. But they're back there just waiting. I gotta do something with them. Alright, this guy, I just put the focus gear on when I came back from filling my coffee. And it is done. It'll go through a collimation process tomorrow. I'm not going to do that on stream. Not original, no big deal. Alright, so moving on to the 35 Summilux. This one's a little more used. This is a very typical modification. It's going to be kind of hard to see on the stream. I don't have like a blank piece of paper or something, but this rear housing protrudes just a little bit, and someone has shaved this half of it down. Actually, maybe that'll show it. There, you can see that taper now. Right here. This side is shaved down, this side is not. See that angle? Oh, there, now you can see it. So they did that because in the camera, when this is mounted, actually, they did it wrong. Oh no, that's right, it goes that way. So when it's on the camera, on say, any reflex style camera, the mirror is, it's up because it's reflecting. Sorry, it's down. And when you take the photo, the mirror flips up and it has to clear that part. Without this modification, the mirror would get stuck on the lens halfway. So it's not uncommon, but this looks like someone just took a file to it. It's not done very well. And because of the way they did it, they shaved down the lock ring. So this lock ring will never come out. At least not easily. So this is not the correct way to do this. Other than that, though, it feels good. Focus is good. Iris is good. Glass is excellent. Okay. Got a little wear and tear on the focus ring, little dings and dents. Same thing on the front ring. Looks like someone's tried to touch it up with a Sharpie or something. But overall, very good condition. Oops, I forgot about my focus. Yeah, thank you. That's better. You can't really see the... There you go. You know what? I'm gonna try the autofocus. How do I do that? Focus mode. Let's see what happens there. So if I do this, yeah, that's not bad. All right, maybe I'll leave that on, but if it gets wonky, let me know. Okay. Now those can stay in there. All right. What time is it? 11 a.m. Okay, I got about an hour, maybe a little less. Oh, another quick note. This is already missing. Well, let's try our autofocus. Autofocus works, but the lighting. There we go. The baffle, the light baffle is missing from here. So whoever did this mod probably took that out and just left it out. Yeah, this isn't looking great. This either, well, it looks like somebody used oil instead of grease, which is, again, typical in a situation where someone doesn't quite know what they're doing. See, I said I wasn't going to review other people's mods, but now I am. My keyboard out of the way there. Get out of there. That's as far back as it goes. Yeah, there's practically no grease on here. That's kind of sad. Got a tiny bit on this side, looks very fluid, and then nothing on this side. So. It does make cleaning a lot easier because it's not sticky and resistant. Actually, I think I only have about a half an hour left because I have to meet my wife. I also thought about doing some more lens hunting today. I'm still on the hunt for another good copy of the Mamiya 80mm Secor C. Actually, Phil, are you still here? Ah. How confident? You must have at least one copy of the 80 1.9. Do you have multiple copies? And if so, are you willing to part with one? Currently unwillingly to part with any. Aww. Well then, my hunt continues. I had several 80-19s, and one of them got loaned to a, I guess you could say a client, and that client has ghosted us, which is really sad because it was a good one that I had hunted for months to find a copy of. Quite unfortunate. I still have copies that are not good. The 80mm in particular has a very common issue with the rear group has a haze that develops, and it's a sealed group. So there's not really a good way to clean it out. And eBay sellers don't know what they're looking for, so they don't necessarily tell you if the lens has it. And it's not something that would show up without specifically shining a light through the back of it and observing it in a very intentional way. So a lot of the copies that I have were like A+++, mint, whatever, and then you get it and you check that rear group and sure enough it's there. And it's not that people are trying to deceive, it's just it doesn't show up easily. It doesn't show up in product photos, but it shows up in the image. So maybe we'll do some lens hunting. I do not like this song either. Where is it? It's not showing up. What's going on here? That's weird. There it is. Remove. There we go. Would you ever consider writing a book? No. I mean, a book about lenses, no, because Jay Holben wrote the Cine Lens manual and he did an amazing job. In fact, that's another great link to give you guys that would help me as well. There we go. I don't know why it chops the URL like that, but anyways, Jay Holben wrote the Cine Lens manual with Chris Probst, ASC, and I could not improve on that if I tried. So I wouldn't write a book about Cine lenses since he did such a good job. I would be lying if I said that I hadn't considered at some point down the line writing a book about my career or, you know, the company. And the only reason I have considered it is because I've read books like Otto Nemens did an autobiography, which is not in the Duclos bookstore, and it should be. I should see if I can get that. But I loved reading his autobiography. It was great. His story is fascinating. I don't think that my story is as interesting as someone like Otto Nemens. You know, I didn't grow up in Austria or, you know, in an exotic place. I've just, the book would be, yeah, I worked for 50 years and did the same thing, which I love, but I don't know that it would be particularly interesting. Is that autofocus still working? Yeah, it is. Alright, maybe I will leave it there. I have waited it for so long. That link that I just dropped in is for the Cine Lens manual, but you can use the Actually, what does it show? I think it's at the very top. You can see our entire bookstore. Yeah, at the top there's a link to books. And it's every book in there is specifically about cinema, lenses, etc. Duclos lenses has a special position in cinema history. I agree with you, but we've never been we've always just kept our nose down and worked hard. We've never been I don't know the word, flashy, you know. There's part of me that feels like writing a book would be narcissistic. Maybe retirement. There we go. Yeah. That's actually a good idea. That's exactly what I would do if I ever retired. That would be the time to do something like write a book. And I guess it could be interesting to some people, you know, having the history of my father and our sort of humble beginnings. That part I wouldn't hesitate to acknowledge, that we really did literally started in a closet, more or less. When we first started the company, my father's bench was maybe, I don't know, 4 feet away from me, 5 feet. And that was the length of our entire shop area. Not shop, but like the service area, the clean area. And then behind him, directly behind him, my sister had her little desk that was maybe, I don't know, 3 feet long, attached to the wall. And she did all the bookkeeping. So if they both tried to get up at the same time, their chairs would hit each other. That's how small our space was. I have so many other projects I'm working on, though. I don't think I could even comprehend writing a book. Repository of lenses you mod on the streams. That kind of exists. It doesn't exist for public consumption. So I'll give you guys a little peek behind the curtains. Every single lens that comes through Duclos lenses gets a history card. And those history cards go back to when my father worked at Claremont Camera, and he used to take in side work, you know, private owners, people that own their own lenses. He would do the repairs for them while he wasn't maintaining Claremont's inventory. And at that time, he started tracking every lens that he serviced. He would make an index card, and it would have the make, the model, the serial number, what was done, the date, all that. And he kept those even after he left Claremont, and continued doing it when he worked at the next company he worked at, Kish Optics. So we have history cards for lenses dating back to the early 90s. I don't know how many cards it is. It's got to be in the hundreds of thousands. But every single lens that has come through here has a history card and what was done to it. And back during COVID, we decided now's a good time to start digitizing those. And so we have a database of every single lens and every single service, mod, you name it, who owned it, when it was sold to them, everything. It was a daunting task to consider, and every time we brought it up, it got more daunting because there was more cards. So at one point we're like, look, we just need to bite the bullet and start it. So I think it has taken about maybe almost a year to digitize the entire catalog. Actually, it's not done yet. So once everything's done, maybe a year. Nobody reminded me to update my my lens details here. There we go. So anyways, that all exists. And then it piggybacks on a project that I've been working on for, again, probably about 5 years. Not that long, maybe 4 years. Which is just a database of every single Cine lens. And I think the goal is to open it to public consumption. Not the service part, but just the database of lenses. But it started as just a place for me to dump information. Phil, I might have given you a peek at that. I don't remember. Well, the next time we're at Munchbox, I'll show you. It's not super impressive. It's definitely not something I would charge for. It's more or less just a wiki that has a ton of Cine lens data, and it kind of spills over into still lenses. You know, we see so many Leica Rs, so we keep all the Leica R data handy in there. I'm sure some people would get use out of it, but it was mostly just a repository of my brain. Kubrick said the same thing. Kubrick had a wiki. Oh, okay. See, again, this has been, someone has attempted to try and repaint it. I don't know how close this will focus. It's not great. Actually, that would be a fun exercise. Phil, give me a lens and I'll see if it's in there, in my database. Don't be too obscure. Olympus OM18. Let's see. Olympus. I got OM. Nope, not in there. I don't know what model these are. Oh, these are Mzuiko. My database goes from 17 f1.8 to a 20 millimeter at 1.4. So, got to work on that. But that's my that's my point, is that it's not. If I released it for public consumption, people would just be emailing me constantly, like, "Hey, you're missing this lens." So for now, it's still just a reference for me. But this doesn't specify. Oh, it does say OM lenses. We should compare notes, Phil. we got the red primes and the red zooms. Minolta, Meyer Optic, Meike. It's got quite a few. Oh, let's see if we can find it. Where was that? Meyer Optic. Well, the lenses are recorded, but I don't have data on any of them. And none of them are in centimeters. I have some of their C-mount 16 format lenses, and some of them are in inches, but I don't see any in centimeters. But yeah, these are just, they exist in my database, but there's no data for them. They're not populated. Got quite a few Panavision. Holy cow, I haven't looked at this. Actually, so I had opened up access to all of my staff, and we have a couple former Panavision people, so the Panavision section is pretty well flushed. Ultra Panatar, Ultra Panatar 2, Ultra 70, Ultra Vista, T series, B series, C series, E series, G, Primos, Panaspeeds. It goes on and on. Yeah, so it's fun. It's definitely a never-ending project because new lenses keep getting released every day. But maybe someday I'll open it. Actually, I think technically it's open. I just don't tell anyone the URL. Deep dive on strange lenses. I don't know that I would consider red primes strange. Although... Oh, hi, Frank. Are you joining from the road? I thought you were away. do have a little piece of history that you guys will enjoy. Hang on. There you go. Phil, I don't know if you've ever seen this even. The Red 85 serial number 1. So this was the front ring for the original Red Pro Primes before they were called Red Pro Primes. And this was when they were in their prototype phase. And so we showed these prototypes to Jim Gennard, and he said, no, that's too small. It's got to be bigger. Professional lenses are big and heavy. And so they went back to the drawing board and made them bigger and heavier, and that's what we have today. But that's how big they were going to be. You know, what is this, 80? How big is this front? My calipers aren't here, of course. No, it's a little bigger. It's like a 82 or something. So, yeah, number 1. There you go. And this paint was impossible to fill. I hated that. I'm really glad they didn't end up going with that. I don't know if it'll focus there. Yeah, you're right, Downpour. That's it's interesting stuff. I don't know how much of it I'm allowed to talk about. I think now that Red has sold to Nikon, nobody cares. Nobody at Nikon knows that history. They're not interested. So I'm a little more emboldened to talk about stuff like that. But there's a lot of history there. This definitely needs some adjustment. I'm gonna have to do that later. A cheat sheet on the Red Primes? I don't know how much that would benefit us. I would rather do a cheat sheet on stuff that people can actually get. Yeah, Red Pro Primes were definitely underrated. Their coverage, nobody wants them anymore. Actually, I got another... Now I'm going off on a tangent now. Hold on. There you go. How about that? Serial number 12 for the Unique Optics Kenji Shimatsu. No focus scale. Never made it to engraving. Or iris, for that matter. Yeah, that's a fun piece of history. Made in USA. How often do you see that these days on a lens? That was very unique. These were from glass to metal to assembly. It was all done in the USA, in California. Zunao Imperial T14 Primes. Yeah, Zunao was... They have a lot of potential, but they're definitely not capitalizing on that potential. but it's optics history. You're not wrong, Frank. I think that's a good argument. Maybe then we do like a history cheat sheet, like a specific type of cheat sheet. You know, something to differentiate it from current products. Oh, Aubrey Duclos, hello. This one doesn't feel great. The focus could be... this lens would benefit from a clean and lube. It's not bad, the focus is just a little light and a little inconsistent. Just barely. It'll be fine, but I mean, like a motor is not going to struggle to run this. But just by hand, you can feel a tiny. I just lost my audio. I think it's because I'm getting notifications. Yeah. Tons of notifications. You're all catching up now. A Duclos museum. I would love to curate a museum. I mean, again, though, that goes back to the book idea. I don't know that there's anything I could do better that the Academy Museum couldn't do, or even the ASC. In fact, I don't know if it's still there, but we have lenses in the Godfather exhibit at the Academy Museum. I think that was not a permanent exhibit, so it might be gone. Actually, that brings up a good point. If it's gone, if that exhibit has ended, I want my lens back. I don't know how the Academy handles that. All right, this one definitely needs a little bit of additional work. All right. I should probably wrap up this stream because I gotta get going. Only 2 lenses. I think someone had asked a minute ago if the mod streams are back. Who was asking about that? Frank is up with the fam. Tell Lily I said hello. Oh, Weebles? Are they going to happen more regularly? Maybe. I think if I can... if I could stick to an hour, I could definitely do the mod stream more regularly. But that's like one lens that I could do in an hour between like setting up the stream, getting all my parts ready. But yeah, I think I might try to make that a point and do them every Saturday, an hour. Lily and Riley say hi. That might be more doable if it's a little more regulated. Maybe a little later. Maybe I do it or earlier. Actually, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, thank you guys for joining. Definitely check that link that I put up. Actually, let me drop it again real quick. There we go. Oh yeah, Hendrix, definitely drop us an email, Cine-Mod at ducloslenses.com. We'll get you sorted with some mods. Anybody that was asking about the book stuff, grab the Cine Lens manual or any of the books we have there for that matter. Byways is fantastic if you're a fan of Roger Deakins. It's just a huge collection of his still frames. Very cool. Yeah, thank you guys. I will see you next weekend.